Hey y'all, it's me, CheesyPaninie. Before we get to the video, I would like to ask for your help. As you can see, my channel is really close to breaking 5,000 subs, and I would really appreciate it if those people who haven't subscribed yet would kindly click that subscribe button over there and help me get to that next milestone. And when I do, I'm gonna be making a special Q&A video. Anyways, back to the video. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this whole staycation situation we have going on can sometimes bring me down, and what do you do when you feel down? I guess it depends on people. Some could go and watch a movie, play a video game, and sometimes we'll look for something to eat. Since this whole thing went down, I find myself having a whole lot of cravings. Don't get me wrong, I'm eating well enough and the food is pretty good at home, but sometimes you get this uncontrollable urge to eat a specific food, whether it be a longing for a certain taste, missing a memory tied to that food, or having your hormones so out of whack you just want to eat a bar of cheese dipped in Nutella for no apparent reason. And you'd probably say, why don't you just have it delivered? Well, my family has become overly cautious about deliveries, especially when it comes to food, and they've opted to just make the food themselves. They even went as far as learning to make their own bread. Aside from this, I checked and these two cravings I have don't seem to be delivering. Anyways, I'm pretty sure you guys have had a craving for something at least once throughout these past couple of months. And for me, sometimes it's hard to ignore and I end up looking for something close to what I want to eat or just find whatever I can to get by. At some point, way before this house hibernation party, I told myself I wanted to try challenging myself to create food in Terraria, and after seeing some people build them in Discord servers, Reddits, and after seeing people on Twitter drawing food, I just told myself now is probably the best time to do it. And what better food to build than food I am heavily craving. I'll be talking about certain brands, and just in case you're wondering, no, I'm not sponsored. I just really like the food they make. Today I'm gonna be building two of my favorite food that I used to have back when I was in college. So the first one I'm making is Henlins Shomai with yang chow rice. I start off the build by placing some white dynasty walls and yellow painted stardust fragment blocks for the box and the rice. Now, the stardust fragment releases a bit of blue glow and it is highly visible in the shadows as well, and I'm not a huge fan of it, so I've decided to use illuminant paint in order to get rid of that. The brown painted cloud wall over there is where the shomai will be placed, and I'll talk about that in a bit. And if you're curious about that black thing next to the rice, that's just a packet of soy sauce. I know, it looks like a sausage, but it's the best I can do. Now for the walls of the box, I'm using smooth sandstone and smooth marble blocks because they're the ones that can actually hold white paint really well and actually looks white and not gray. And for the back of the box, I used snow walls, which are a little darker to kind of give it some depth. Also, I figured that most of my audience probably doesn't know what it is, so I thought I'd talk a little bit about it in between. Back at my old school, a lot of food that they sell were a little bit pricey, and while they do taste good, they aren't always filling. But this one meal was probably the cheapest one I can buy that fully satisfies my hunger. One order had 1 cup of yang chow rice, 4 pieces of shomai, a piece of calamansi, some chili, and soy sauce for flavor. If I remember correctly, around the time I was studying in college, it was around 50 to 55 pesos, which is around $1 in US currency. The other food around the campus was around 75 to 200 pesos, which is more or less $2 to $4. Yeah, I know that's some crazy conversion. So about this yellow rice, it's actually called yang chow rice, and it is fried rice mixed with scrambled egg, which gives it that rich yellow color. Other people love to mix it with vegetables and meat as well. I didn't want the rice to just be one big old clump of stardust fragments, so I hammered some parts and placed hardened sand walls, diamond gemspark walls, and cloud walls painted yellow and deep yellow underneath it. I find that cloud walls sometimes do a better job illuminating a build than Gemspark walls do, but it's only applicable when it's daytime. Now these two compass roses painted deep yellow represents the calamansi, which is basically the Philippine lime. It's a lot tinier than a regular lime, but it is used as seasoning for a lot of different food. You can actually mix this with the chili and soy sauce packet that comes with it for the sauce. Okay, let's move on to the most important part of this meal, the shomai. For this particular item, I used a mishmash of ice block, snow block, thin ice, honey block, ice wall, cloud wall, marble wall, and diamond gemspark walls. With the amount of mishmashing I did here, I would not be surprised if I used an item I forgot to write down. It was really hard, if not impossible, to make it look like it had wonton wrappers on because of the limitations of items in the game. So I just did what I can and hammered the top to make it look like it was wrapped, and made some sides of the shawmai lighter or darker to give it some depth and make it look a little bit three-dimensional. Having thin ice in front of dark walls helped a lot with this because it merged with snow and ice blocks while still retaining a darker or lighter shade. I painted a red dot on the shomai as well, and if you're curious why, it's kind of their way of telling what kind of shomai it is because they steam or cook it along with the other ones, and these ones are the pork variants. Shomai is often made out of ground pork, beef, shrimp, among others, mixed with vegetables like garlic, green peas, carrots, and so on. It is wrapped in wonton wrappers and is commonly steamed or fried. When I used to order this, sometimes I would ask them to make 2 of them steamed and 2 of them fried. While I like it fried most of the time, sometimes I miss the steamed version, so I prefer having both. Fun fact: while Henlin is a Chinese restaurant, it is actually founded by a Filipino couple named Jun Manas Jr. and Sally Manas, and the name Henlin was an amalgamation of 2 of their children's names, Henry and Lynn. Now for the last bit, I'm putting granite blocks, which I painted black and red, which represents the chili, and I'm done. The second craving I'm building is actually a drink from Quickly, which is one of their tarot bestsellers, the Choco Loco Super. I start this build off by building the plastic cup it goes into with glass. It's kind of funny now that I'm writing this script. Next, I place some silly green, purple, and pink balloons which represent the sago, and some more glass which represents the nata. I'll be painting all of the pearls black later, but I kept it unpainted for now so it's easy to tell which block is which so I don't end up merging them. In case you're wondering what sago and nata are supposed to be, sago are those black pearls you see in drinks like bubble tea, while nata or nata de coco is this translucent chewy jelly produced from the fermentation of coconut water. After everything's been placed, it's time to paint the sago black and the nata with negative paint. I use this one instead of white because I'll be actuating some of them in order for the water to flow and not have any air pockets stuck in between. And having it painted that way makes the lines light colored, unlike with white, which darkens the outline. Behind all of this, I placed some diamond gemspark walls, which I'll be painting later. I don't think I've had this drink since I left college at all. I remember this one instance, seeing it inside a mall and wanting to go and buy one, but we were in a hurry, so I didn't get to. But man, I wish I did. While making this build, I actually found out that they sell all sorts of different drinks now, and I'm not sure if it's always been there, but I recently found out that they even have milk tea. I wish I could have tried it. Though I feel like if I ever come across this stall again, the first thing I'm gonna order is this old favorite. I took a hollowed water fountain and placed it somewhere close by so that the water I placed turns purple to emulate the purple color of the Choco Loco Super drink. Now I wanted to give it a little bit of style and decided to use some deep blue, deep sky blue, and deep cyan paint on the Gemspark walls to make a somewhat gradient effect. Now you might be wondering why the drink is purple in the first place and what taro is supposed to be. Taro is basically a type of root crop that has a little bit of a purple tint, and this is not to be confused with ube, which is a whole other purple root crop. The purple tint of this crop is not that apparent, so I'm guessing they've added some food coloring to this to attain that hue. Anyways, the drink is basically like a smoothie, blended ice with taro. So with this drink, I actually ended up making two versions, and this one you're watching right now is the first. I was only gonna make a simple drink over here with a patch of blocks, which is supposed to be the branding of the drink. And I didn't really want to put the actual logo of Quickly because I don't know how they'd feel about me putting their logo there, and also because it's kind of difficult to do it in Terraria, so I just made up my own. It's an up arrow because it's like an energy up kind of thing. If you ask me what I'd name my own stall or milk tea shop, I would probably do the same naming conventions as other Pinoys who love to use puns for shop names like Serenity or Tea Lily. I would probably go for Chili Tea. And maybe if it takes off, I could start selling food alongside it, like I serve it with tea na pai, and during Chinese New Year there would be tea koi, and maybe I'd have a special tea nola and tea lap, yeah, for Holy Week, because people are not supposed to eat pork that week. I don't think that actually goes together, but whatever, it has the word tea in it, so it's fine. Pasensya na guys, mahilig ako sa puns, wala tayong magagawa. Anyways, I put a straw over there, and there's a size difference between the walls that have no other walls beside them and walls that are next to other walls. I could always hammer some way to put some gaps, but I decided to just put another wall to the left to get that refraction effect. Haha, scientific. Anyway, I was kind of happy how it looked, but I realized it didn't look anything like it at all. It didn't have the pudding, the frothy part over here, and the most important thing, the chocolate syrup. So I went back in and got to work. The first thing I did was add that blended ice at the top by using frozen slime blocks, but I later realized how blocky they were and started adding snow and dirt blocks painted white. I also used ice walls, cloud walls, and Gemspark walls for the back for some added shadow and light. I also painted lines of blocks with brown and actuated them to emulate the dark brown chocolate syrup slathered on top. I also added some white team blocks by the side and more glass blocks on top to make the drink's cover. Now I wanted to give the drink a more frothy and icy look, and as you can see in the image, there are white lines over here, so I imitated that here. I actually replaced this with silly balloon blocks later on because it looked better when they're rounder. I also used the same blocks to add the pudding in. I'm not sure what the pudding is made out of, but puddings you put on drinks are typically an egg pudding or custard. According to the site, they have strawberry pudding, taro pudding, chocolate pudding, and melon pudding. I used silly purple balloons for the pudding because they tend to have the lightest colors when painted. And there you go! One Choco Loco Super. I'm really glad I went back to add more detail to it because I really loved how it turned out way more than my first design. I don't know much about the company behind Quickly, but what I have found out was it was founded by Nancy Yang in Taiwan and somewhat become popular in California. But I don't really know how popular since I've never been there to see it. Man, just building these and looking at all the pictures is just making me want them more. I hope I get to eat them again one day. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it, and I was actually gonna make 4 different food items in one video, but I realized each of them are big and complicated enough to be their own video, so I might make videos of them some other time in the future. As always, before this video ends, I would love to thank my darling patrons, Sean Gizianowski, Kyle, Valtruck, and my newest patron, Scarfy. Thank you guys so much. You guys didn't have to, but you pledged anyway, and I absolutely appreciate you going out of your way to support me like this. Anyways, that's it for now. I'm just gonna go do my thing, and you guys do your thing, and I'll see you guys later. Take it easy. Stay cheesy.